Good morning again, New Brunswick. This is Charlie Cradaville, and this is the New Brunswick Today Show, special election edition. We have another special guest who wants to represent you. This is Mr. Daryl Kipnis.
Good morning, New Brunswick.
Running for State Senate in Legislative District 17. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Charlie. It's my pleasure to be here. Real excited to be here. Talk to the people in New Brunswick, about New Jersey, and about the 17th Legislative District and all the plans that I have to give everybody a higher level of service from their state senator than they have ever seen from anybody who has previously occupied that position in history. That's what I want to do for everybody.
Okay, so let's talk about that position. The state senate seat for Legislative District 17. It's 5 towns, including New Brunswick.
Yes, indeed.
Used to be a seat held by John Lynch, the convicted felon, former mayor of New Brunswick.
That's right, and a member of the royal family, so to speak.
And then a guy took over, former Piscataway mayor, who's been in the office ever since, Bob Smith. And we actually just heard from Senator Smith's office that his schedule is full and he will not be joining New Brunswick Today and our audience to share his views. So
I'm very happy to be here,
you're all
Charlie.
we've got, Daryl.
I'm delighted to be here.
But I got to ask the tough question. So
Go for it.
You're a Republican.
I am. I'm running as a Republican.
The president is a Republican.
He is. He was a Democrat, but he's a Republican now.
His campaign manager was indicted this week.
Former campaign manager.
Yes, and another associate and another campaign official, a foreign policy advisor, pled guilty to lying to the FBI. This is just one of the latest in a series of scandals and revelations about the president's administration. Do you support impeachment of President Trump, removing him from office?
Do I support removing him from office? Well, impeachment is, as you know, a legal process that's got to go through Congress. This New Jersey State Senate does not get to make the call as to whether the president gets impeached. Only Congress does. And like anything else, I'm an attorney. And you know, every public official, whether they're in your party or not, whoever they are, from the president down to a councilman in the town, has to follow the law and has to discharge the duties of their office to the fullest. If there's evidence that any public official has committed a crime and that is deserving of the impeachment process, then you have to weigh the evidence, and then Congress makes that decision. As of right now, I don't think that there's been enough out there, hard evidence at least that I've seen, to support an impeachment charge. But you know, the world is a strange place, so you know, we'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, I don't think he should be impeached.
Okay, and of course, this is an issue for lots of Republicans running for office. You know, the president says a lot of things and takes a lot of actions that are, let's say, unorthodox. Some would say
he does.
Some would say that he's demeaned the office of the presidency. Do you support the president? Do you think that he's doing a good job, or do you think that here's the important message I have for everybody?
Support of any public official, no matter who they are, is not something that's blindly given. It's something that's earned or something that's lost. No one is entitled to anyone's support. No one's entitled to anyone's vote. That's why we have elections. He's done less than a year in office thus far. I think he's done some good things with the economy. I think he's done some things with the Made in America Jobs program and the apprenticeship program. I think he has some good goals in that regard. Has he done some things which are divisive? Yes. Has he done some things which are, certainly I wouldn't do? Yes. But, look, who I am is not a divider. We have so much division in the country today, and it's tearing people apart. People that have been friends forever, family members, are not talking to one another because of politics. And I said, I think people are sick and tired of that. I think they just want somebody out there that they see is trying to unite everyone, trying to bring everyone together. Let people talk about their differences, but work them out. And I think that's really what I'm looking to bring to the table here as someone who unites with so much division. It's not healthy. It's driving people apart, and we got to sort of unite together and do good for the community.
Okay, well, this is your first time running.
It is.
For any office. Tell the people, tell our audience watching at home, how did you decide that you wanted to be the state senator for this district, and what's your background? How'd you get to this point?
I'm nobody special. I'm an attorney. I've been practicing for 11 years. I'm a small business owner. I have my own practice in Franklin. Davidson Avenue. And I'm a father, the husband of 11 years, a father of 3 kids, 8, 6, and 2. I'm very concerned about the future of the state of New Jersey. I think we have a huge crisis of affordability. People can't afford to live in the state. 18,000 people pick up and leave every month because they can't afford to live here, many of them. We're first in the country in foreclosures, and we're first in distressed mortgages. We are 47%, and this is the big one, of all adults aged 18 to 34 in New Jersey live at home with their parents because they can't afford to have their own places to live. And if you go to certain other parts of the state, that number jumps up to 55%. So we got a big affordability problem. We have a problem with, kids with opportunity for young people. And even kids with jobs are still living at home with their parents because they're the 5th highest rents in the country. And I look at the state Senate and I look at the state legislature. It's been controlled by the Democratic Party for 16 years. But it's really the establishment in both parties that I think when you look at the gas tax that was passed last year, where some Republicans voted for it, Democrats voted for it, and basically what they did is they asked us as taxpayers, as citizens, to foot the bill for their decades-long mismanagement of the state's finances. They bankrupted the Transportation Trust Fund. They robbed Peter to pay Paul. And they do it because they think that they can get away with it. They think that people are just going to vote the line and I'm going to get back in. And every district is drawn in such a way that favors one party over the other. So we don't have to try for it. We don't have to work for it. We can just do what the lobbyists want us to do and what the special interests want us to do. And we'll get back in because they'll give us the cash that funds our campaigns and get us back in, and we'll crush the opposition. And we'll be stuck with bad government forever. And I think that why I came forward is, as a father and as someone that couldn't sit around anymore, I said, we got to break this cycle, particularly with the guy that I'm running against here, because he's been in a very, very long time. I debated him last week. The contrast could not be more clear. This is a guy that is the prototypical definition of a career politician. He is looked down upon, all the people that he's been elected to represent, when he supported the gas tax, when he failed to challenge the State House renovation plan by Governor Christie, which would result in as high as $750 million in bonding. And what I questioned him about at the debate is Senator Ray Lesniak, a Democrat, Assemblyman John Wisniewski, a Democrat, joined with a couple of Republicans, Senator Mike Dougherty and Senator Kip Bateman, to file a lawsuit to stop the Christie administration from bonding for the State House renovation. It was done in a way which circumvents the Lance Amendment to the state constitution, which requires that if a public expense by the state for bonding is of a certain amount has to be done, it's got to go to a public vote. It can't be done behind the back. And the way that they did it here was
the EDA.
The EDA, where they leased it back to the state, and they did it in a way to circumvent it, and not a single person could do anything about it. And Bob Smith was silent about it. He says he opposed it. He's on the State House Commission, which I presume would give him some influence over who may get that money, who may get that contract. So it would be ridiculous to believe that he has no influence over that whatsoever, because he has influence over a lot of things, having been around for as long as he has, and without facing a challenge to of the magnitude that he faces with me right now. But it's sad because the city of Trenton is crumbling around it. There's despair, there's poverty, and they want to make a palace for themselves. The political elite wants to put money we don't have. The state is crushed financially. We're on the verge of bankruptcy. We got people that haven't had their pensions funded. We got schools that are underfunded. And this is what they want to go $300 million in debt, which I think is a vanity project. And that's emblematic of everything that's wrong with the way the political establishment in the state of New Jersey thinks and how they operate. They're about themselves. And I think you need to have someone in there that's about everybody, that understands that whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether you supported Trump, whether you supported Bernie. I got people of all different political beliefs that are supporting me, and I'm really, really grateful and honored for that, because we need to unite. We need to come together and understand that this isn't a matter of Republican versus Democrat. This is a matter of us versus them. This is a matter of the hardworking people of the state of New Jersey, of all walks of life, versus the political establishment that does so much behind everybody's back for government contracts. They will spend exorbitant amount of money on campaigns and PACs and things to keep their hand-picked fixers in, like Senator Bob Smith, to get them exactly what they want. And we've been paying for it, and we've been paying dearly for it, and it's time to stop. It's time to make them pay for it.
Okay. So you mentioned several things.
Sure.
Gas tax,
Yep.
State House renovations.
Right.
both of which were, championed by Chris Christie,
Right.
the, top Republican in the state of New Jersey. What's your opinion on him? How can you run in the same party as Chris Christie?
I think I've just gave it. Well, the Republican Party we are the Big Ten. We are the party of inclusion. That's what we are. I'm saying it loud. I'm saying it proud. We need to move on from the past. This election is not about Chris Christie. It's not about Donald Trump. It's about the future of the state of New Jersey overtaking the past. It's about moving forward. And I think we've been let down by so many people that have come forward before, and a lot of faith was put in them. And the public trust has been betrayed. You see it in New Brunswick all the time with the current administration. And it's about time that someone gets in there and really breaks that cycle. That no one came up to me, no one drove a truckload of money to me of $100,000 or more and said, "Here's your campaign fund because Daryl, we want you to be our guy in Trenton." I came forward myself because everybody needs a guy in Trenton, and I want to be that guy. Everybody should have someone that stands up for them that they can call any time of day when they have a problem, when there's other elected officials that aren't doing their job and no one's holding them accountable. When you have, and we'll get to more detail about this too, when you have all these commissions and agencies and authorities that call themselves semi-autonomous and independent, they're patronage grounds. They're dumping grounds for political patronage hires, cronyism, nepotism. It goes on all the time, and when the same people get reelected to office time and time again, their hangers-on stay. They have no incentive to do the job for anybody because they get a free pass, and we all pay for it. And people, especially in the case of the New Brunswick Housing Authority, which I'm sure you'll want to get to in more detail, they deal with the poorest and most vulnerable residents in New Brunswick, and they let them down with this audit that came out where, there was defalcations and questionable expenditures. And you know what? The reason why that happened is because they think they can get away with anything because nobody's going to come and put them in their place. That they go around and whenever they do run for re-election, either they have no opposition, they have no one run against them, and the mayor of New Brunswick hasn't faced a Republican since I was a freshman at Rutgers in 1998 with Frank Bright. I remember it well. And he has people giving him money to his re-election campaign when he has no opposition. I don't know what he needs the money for. It's ridiculous. And you'll get into it.
So I hope to, but on the topic of the governor, so he's leaving behind this sort of questionable legacy. Like you said, people put faith in him, and he let people down. Are you supporting his lieutenant governor to replace him?
Yes, because she's nothing like him. I have a great relationship with Kim Guadagno. I think her heart is absolutely in the right place. She wants to make New Jersey affordable. She wants to make it safe. She is not beholden to the same people that Chris Christie was, and he unfortunately was. And I think her heart is in the right place. She's got a great moral compass, and I think she really has the right. She hands out her cell phone number to everyone. I do that because she taught me that, and I think that's what every elected official should do, or anyone running for office should do, to be there for somebody when they need them. And I think that she, if given the opportunity, will show everybody that she's really deserving of that opportunity.
Well, please reach out to her and let her know that we would like to have her sit down in that same chair for an interview. Her main opponent, Phil Murphy, has already turned us down and won't be coming here. We urge him to change his mind. But please, we haven't heard back from the Guadagno.
We'll certainly reach out.
Please let them know. We'd love to have her here and talk about it. But you mentioned that you see the Republican Party as a big tent.
Yes.
The inclusive party.
Yes.
How can you say that when Kim Guadagno is making so much noise, so much hay over the sanctuary issue and using what many have called fear-mongering ads or
Well, I
had
my own issues with that ad that everyone's talking about, and I think that
doesn't that hurt the big tent, though? Doesn't that make it less
comes
inclusive?
from a place of she wants New Jersey to be safe. I think she's concerned about certain things, and we do have to follow the law. New Jersey does not have the ability to negate the federal law. If we don't like the law, then we should lobby Congress like hell to change the law and do something to protect people which may be here without proper documentation, or maybe here on a civil immigration violation, but are otherwise here because they love being here, they want to raise their families here, they may have escaped horrible persecution to be here. And I think America has a great history of people escaping persecution. That's exactly where our country was founded, on people escaping persecution to come here and build a life in the land of the free and the home of the brave. So I think we got to, and Congress has been, on this issue, I criticized President Trump when he terminated DACA without any replacement immediately in the works with Congress. I think they got to act fast. I think we all got to put pressure on our members of Congress to do something very quickly, and I know I will, about getting protections restored to Dreamers that were brought here. But I think that we do have to keep, if there are people that break the law, we have to make sure that they are prosecuted and dealt with appropriately in accordance with the justice system. I think she has concerns about that. This isn't about discriminating against people from any particular place. It's just criminals. If you come here and you're not here in the country legally and you commit crimes, the law says what happens. And I don't think New Jersey has the power to say we disagree with federal law. We're not going to honor it. If you don't like it, you got to change it. And Congress is doing a terrible job of changing it right now. I'm very disappointed with them. Members of both parties in Congress, and that's a whole other story for a whole other day.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we have a limited amount of time. Before we part ways, I wanted to just ask you what your priorities are going to be. You'd be one of 40 senators if you win in the state Senate. And there's only so many hours in a day, only so many priorities you can get past. What are you going to make your sort of top three or top two or three issues that you're going to fight for?
Here's the big one for people in New Brunswick, and I mentioned it before. All these commissions, you heard about the Mercer County Parks Commission with former Rutgers coach Kevin Bannon getting indicted now. And you heard about the Middlesex County Improvement Authority with the discrimination lawsuit filed against them by someone who was a woman who was hired at the same time as a man who happens to be a relative of a former freeholder and a member of the royal family in Middlesex County, so to speak. We got a lot of these running amok in New Jersey where they just exist. They're patronage mills. No one pays attention to them. They kind of operate under the radar. When I hear from any member of the community that anyone in any agency or any elected official is not doing their job, is not serving the people that they were appointed to serve, I'm going to hold them accountable. I have a very simple principle. This applies to everyone. Be good or be gone. And that's what I think has escaped by having Bob Smith in power and his machine cronies for so long. There's no accountability. That you're only going to get one message from them. They're loyal to their own and not anybody else, and they've shown that repeatedly, time and time again. And to put Bob Smith back in there, I think would be just asking to repeat the same process. He's not going to change who he is, how he operates for you or anybody. He is what he is. He's been there a long time. I think it's time for him to move on. He chose to seek re-election this year. He was challenged in the primary by some people, some very, very good people that saw the same things going on as I did. And we found some common ground with them, and I'm very grateful that I met those folks. And the Central Jersey Progressive Democrats, they have good things in mind. They have they're about justice, social justice, and all the things. We have a lot of kindred spirits in a lot of ways. Maybe there's some disagreements, but we could agree to disagree. But the important thing is we work together. I'm not going to tell anybody that's a ridiculous idea. No, I'm never going to do that. I want to hear what people have to say about any type of proposal. We got to make our state affordable. Property taxes, property taxes, property taxes drive everybody out, especially seniors. You work so hard to pay off your house, but if you can't pay a $10,000 property tax bill in a 55 and older community that you moved in so you could be near your kids and near your grandkids, you got to keep families together. So that's not the
so what are you going to do about that? Obviously,
what are we going to do
one
about
of the
that?
biggest issues, property taxes. Well, what's your plan?
Cutting off pension payments to people convicted of public corruption offenses is a very good start, and that's something that Senator Smith has repeatedly voted against when others have tried to put that bill up. Twice in 2 weeks he did it. We also have to look at the schools and what's going on there to make sure that they're being funded appropriately. And that Hoboken, for instance, is considered an Abbott district. Does Hoboken really need to be considered an Abbott district still? Where you have condos that are $1.5 million condos, it's very gentrified, as you know, that are paying less in property taxes than a $400,000 home here, and frankly, because of the school funding formula. So we have to take a careful look at that. We want to help kids. We want to help teachers. My opponent, I couldn't believe what he said. Because the NJEA did not endorse him or Steve Sweeney for re-election, he threatened to put them in the first circle of hell for the next 4 years. I mean, that type of arrogance should not be accepted by anybody. I don't care who you are. You treat everyone with respect. I think people should be treated like family and not like piggy banks, as he has done. We all deserve that. It doesn't matter what party you're in. I'll listen to your ideas. I will work with you. You know, there's no such thing as this is a Republican idea. Minimum wage increase, I'm interested in that. You know, I'm interested, but we got to do it responsibly and in a way that lets businesses compete. And I'm interested in, wage and hour stuff. I'm interested in paid sick leave, paid family leave, to see if we can do kind of an omnibus jobs and tax package that allows businesses to stay competitive while improving quality of work life. And the other thing, too, Amazon, that's another topic. The state wants to give them a $7 billion subsidy to come here. And you know about the pilots and all that other stuff that goes on, which is starved schools of funding and so on and so forth. When we're in a position when we have to do that, that's an admission that the entire tax code is broken, and we should be leveling the playing field to allow for people of all different businesses of all sizes to compete and to do well and to thrive and employ people, and not just try to give a huge tax break to one giant corporation. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's tax fairness. And you saw both Americans for Prosperity New Jersey, which is a conservative think tank, and New Jersey Policy Perspective, which is a progressive think tank, come together and hold a joint press conference to say $7 billion for Amazon, not such a good idea. So we want good ideas. We don't want stuff that doesn't work and is proven not to work numerous times in the past. So, any other things you want me to get into with the Housing Authority or anything over here?
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have, but...
I can go on forever.
But I appreciate...
Call me.
I do appreciate you being out there on Facebook and reading our stuff and sharing our stuff and
I'm here for
shining
everybody.
a light on it.
I'm here for everybody. There's so many that aren't. We're tired of people that are elected to office that just aren't there for you. They just don't care about you. And that's the unfortunate reality. It doesn't have to be the reality. Get out and vote on November 7th. Make the change that only comes along once in a lifetime. That's why I came forward to do this, because I care that much, because my heart and my soul are all in this. I feel what everybody does. We've had enough of what goes on in New Jersey. Let's do things right. Let's do right by people. And I think that's a message that anybody can jump on.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Charlie. It's my pleasure.
Daryl Kipnis is running for the state Senate seat in the 17th Legislative District. That's right here in New Brunswick, as well as Franklin, Piscataway, Milltown, and North Brunswick. So if you live in one of those towns, you're going to have the choice between Mr. Kipnis and the incumbent Senator Bob Smith on November 7th. Please, whoever you're voting for, get out there and vote. And stay tuned to New Brunswick Today. We've got more candidate interviews coming up. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Charlie. Enjoy.